one thing a man may find if he was to get into a relationship is that it is hard for him to connect to how he feels. And before this might not have stood out. And so when he was around his friends and colleagues, there might not have been any pressure on him to express his feelings and to be emotionally present. But through being in a relationship and being with someone who needed and wanted him to be present, this will now be crystal clear. And perhaps if he has been in a relationship before, this may be something that stood out in the past. And at this point, he could struggle to understand why he is unable to connect to how he feels around his partner, and why he has been this way for so long. He may believe that he was just born this way and this is just what he's like. And if this is the case, then he may also believe that this is how he will be for the rest of his life. But if he has been this way for as long as he can remember, there is a chance that it may be due to what took place during his childhood years. And this may have been a time when he was physically harmed by his father. And so through being in an environment where it wasn't safe for him to be in his body, to surrender, to be an embodied human being, and to connect to and express how he felt, he would have ended up becoming disembodied. And losing touch with his body would have stopped him from being overwhelmed with pain, because of course, as he was totally powerless and dependent, he would not have been able to leave or to fight back. He had to simply tolerate what was going on. And so, although disconnecting from his feelings would not have changed what was going on externally, it would have stopped him from being overwhelmed with pain. And over many, many years, he gradually would have become disconnected from himself, and he would have ended up living on the surface of himself. And so while he will be aware of his thoughts, he will generally be unaware of how he feels. And although this would have allowed him to handle a very traumatic stage of his life, it will now be causing him problems. But although many, many years will have passed, he is still likely to be carrying a lot of pain, and he can believe deep down that if he was to connect to his feelings and to be in his body, he would end up being harmed again. And so it will be a challenge for him to be in his feminine, to surrender. And of course, he can judge himself for being unavailable, and other people can do the same thing, but he won't be this way because he has chosen to be this way. He will be emotionally unavailable because he experienced a lot of trauma, because he suffered a great deal as a child. So if you're a man and you can relate to this, you can see that you find it hard to connect to how you feel and to just be, and to be connected to your body around others, because of course you would have been traumatized by the people or the person who should have protected you and looked after you. And so now whenever you get close to someone else, this will be seen deep down as a threat to your survival. So if you can relate to this and you are ready to change your life, you may need to reach out for external support so that you can start to question what you believe, to work through your emotional wounds and trauma, and to gradually become more available. And most likely this won't take place overnight, but it will take place as long as you keep going and don't give up on yourself. So please don't lay into yourself for being unavailable. You didn't choose to be this way, but now that you are an adult, you can do something about it. If you would like to find out more about the services that I offer, please go to www.oliverjrcooper.co.uk or email me at info@oliverjrcooper.co.uk, and I'm looking forward to assisting you on your journey.